Y'all remember when I called you out for not knowing how to use foot stops properly? Uh, this is that kind of video because I'm starting to get frustrated with how many people are making this cardinal sin constantly. We all have that one friend, and you know what? It's probably you, right? Who is always losing their pucks mid-slide and having terrible crashes. We have one friend with the worst, most beat-up gloves ever, and they can't get the Velcro to stick on their pucks. And the second that they encounter the smallest little crack or tar snake, their puck goes flying. They lose all the skin on their elbow. Their board gets wedged underneath somebody's minivan, and the session and the spot is blown. Here's the simple solution. Stop taking your pucks off of your gloves. You don't need to rotate your pucks. You don't need to swap them from your right hand or your left hand. I don't give a shit if you only do toe side slides and your toe side glove down hand is the only puck that gets wear. That's fine. Instead of putting your opposite puck over there when that puck gets too low, buy a new set of pucks and just slap it on there. Velcro, you need to understand, is a consumable item. It wears out, it doesn't last forever, and every time you rip off your pucks, and I'm not even doing it for the demonstration of this video, because that's how important it is to me to keep the Velcro preserved on my gloves. Every time you have the thought of, oh, my pucks are uneven, I need to rip one off and rip the other one off and put it on the opposite hand or whatever, you're decreasing the lifespan of your glove. And odds are, as you get better and better, the Velcro is going to fail on your glove before the fingertips fail or the thumb fails or the stitching somewhere else fails. Velcro becomes the main consumable item on gloves, and so instead of constantly swapping so that your pucks wear down evenly, just buy a second set of pucks. And frankly, you should always have a second set of pucks in your skate bag or on trips or things like that, because people just lose pucks all the time, right? You go slide and something goes wrong, you fly off into the woods, your puck is gone. You don't want that to be the reason why your trip to NC gets totally screwed over. Right? You don't want that to be what ends your day at the slide jam as you lost a puck. It's one of those items that you need to have a spare of in your bag. Kind of like maybe bearings or an extra set of wheels in case you flat spot the heck out of some wheels. Pucks are the same thing. Buy a second pair of pucks to keep in wherever you store your skate stuff so that when one of them wears down so low, you don't have to just swap hands in order to do it. I don't know. I'm passionate about this because I have too many of my own personal friends that are constantly switching their pucks around, and they're always getting them ripped off when we go skate a spot with just the slightest, most uneven pavement, right? Now, another thing that you might be thinking about is, oh, well, what if my puck is wearing unevenly, right? What if it's wearing harder down by my palm than it is by my fingers? Simple solution is adjust your puck one time to compensate for that, and don't touch it again. You can take your puck off. I'm not saying you just have to ride it out forever and have the most angled, uneven puck wear, but like, it's just too much. Your puck should never be flying off your glove unless you're in a really absurd circumstance or you just have very poor quality gloves. And buy extra pucks to keep them on hand. Nowadays, there's a lot of puck suppliers. They're relatively a cheap piece of equipment, and you know you're going to use them one day, right? You know they're not going to last you forever, just as much as a puck is consumable. So, yeah. That's me. I'm getting off my soapbox now. That's all I had to say. I'm gonna start telling it to your faces at sessions. Stop taking your pucks off your gloves. You're gonna hear it from me. It's ridiculous. I can't. It's embarrassing. Stop losing pucks. You've probably seen behind me, I've got a little item 3D printing. This is actually one of my bash guards I designed for my Don't Trip trucks. But they actually work for a lot of different trucks. And if you're interested in getting this and a number of other parts I've designed, I've got a whole drawer of them over here, just stuff that I'm stacking up. There's a bunch of foot stops. Check out my Patreon. I have a tier, it's pretty cheap, where after 3 months, I'll send you a little thank you box of all these parts I invented, designed, printed right here. As a show of my appreciation. Over on Patreon, I'm posting content, honestly, weekly, of my first reactions to different gear, times I get to just try out trucks, and maybe not have enough time to make a full review, but I'm giving my first opinions. I've got tons of stuff over there. At least go check it out. You can see the preview of all of that stuff that I'm doing over there. And here's my list of patrons that support me a little bit each month. I appreciate you all so very much. My patrons and you, the viewers. I'm always going to be putting my best content here on YouTube. So don't think that we're just going to a pay-per-view type of thing. My highest quality reviews are always going to be posted here. And I appreciate all of you YouTube viewers so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.